In Los Angeles, in one of the elegant restaurants of a fashionable hotel, fate brings together Carol Honeycutt, a woman going through a divorce and looking for new acquaintances, and Michael Tarlow, a successful lawyer who recently lost his wife. Carol, who works as an editor at a major publishing house, has agreed to a blind date arranged by a mutual acquaintance. Michael, reserved and a little sad, immediately impressed her with his gallantry and intelligence. The evening promised to be pleasant, and there was a slight mutual attraction between them. During dinner, the waiter hands Michael a note asking him to call a client back urgently. He apologizes to Carol and offers to go up to his room with him so he can talk quietly on the phone. Carol, a little embarrassed but intrigued, agrees. They go up to a spacious suite, tastefully furnished and overlooking the night city. Michael explains to Carol that he needs to call a client on an important matter and asks her to wait a while. Carol looks around the suite, examining the pictures on the desk, trying to get a better understanding of this mysterious man. She feels a little uneasy, but also intrigued at the same time. Suddenly, the room door swings open and two men burst into the room. One of them immediately identifies himself as Leo Watts, the very client Michael was supposed to meet with. The other, named Jack Wooten, holds a gun in his hand. Carol recoils in fright into the shadows, hoping to go unnoticed. Leo Watts, whose voice is full of anger, accuses Michael of betrayal and theft. He claims that Michael defrauded him by embezzling a large sum of money intended for laundering. Michael desperately tries to justify himself, but Leo won't listen. He is filled with rage and a thirst for revenge. Carol hides in the semi-darkness, watching in horror. She realizes that she has become an unwitting witness to a showdown between criminals. She fears for her life and tries to figure out how to get out of this trap. Suddenly, Jack Wooten, on Leo's orders, hits Michael. Michael falls to the floor, knocked unconscious. Carol freezes in horror, realizing that she has just witnessed a crime. Leo and Jack quickly leave the room, leaving Carol alone with the body. Carol trembles with fear, realizing that her life is in danger. She knows that Leo Watts will eliminate her to keep her from telling the police what happened. She must run and try to get to justice, but she has no one to turn to for help. In desperation, Carol calls the police and reports it. Arriving on the scene, detectives led by the experienced and cynical Stephen Vogel begin their investigation. Vogel has seen a lot in his life, treats Carol with suspicion. He is not sure if she is telling the truth or if she is involved in something. Carol convinces Vogel of her innocence and tells him everything she has seen. She realizes that her life depends on Vogel believing her. She explains to him that Leo Watts is dangerous and that he will do anything to eliminate her. Vogel, despite his skepticism, decides to take Carol into protective custody. He realizes that she's the only witness who can help him bring Leo Watts to justice. He devises a plan to transport her to Los Angeles where she can testify in court to ensure Carol's safety. Vogel decides to transport her by train, hoping it will be a safer way than a car trip. He puts her on a train bound for Seattle and accompanies her himself. Vogel is confident that he will be able to protect Carol from her pursuers. However, Leo Watts has no intention of giving up so easily. He's sending his men to find her and get rid of her. He knows that if she gets to court and testifies, he'll go to jail. He's willing to go to any lengths to prevent that from happening. On the train, Carol and Vogel try to remain undetected. They realize that every passenger could be a potential enemy. They watch everyone carefully, trying to identify suspicious individuals. Vogel explains to Carol that she will have to change her identity and start a new life after she testifies. He realizes that her life will never be the same again. He feels responsible for her safety and is willing to protect her at all costs. Gradually, a peculiar bond develops between Carol and Vogel. They are both lonely and frustrated people, whom fate has brought together in this dangerous situation. They begin to trust each other and support each other. It soon becomes clear that Leo Watts' men have infiltrated the train. They begin to pursue Carol and Vogel, trying to finish them off. A game of cat and mouse begins in the confined space of the train. Carol and Vogel are forced to constantly change cars, hide and evade their pursuers. They use all their skills and knowledge to survive. They realize that they have no one to count on but each other. During one of the firefights, Vogel is wounded. Carol, despite her fear, gives him first aid and helps him get to safety. She shows incredible bravery and determination. Vogel realizes that Carol is not just an ordinary woman. She is strong and independent, able to withstand any challenge. He admires her courage and loyalty. Eventually, Carol and Vogel find themselves trapped in one of the train cars. Stalkers surround them, ready to take them out. They realize that this may be their last fight. Suddenly, Carol comes up with an ingenious plan. She uses her wit and knowledge of the train structure to outwit the pursuers. She sets a trap that Watts' men fall into. As a result of the fight, Carol and Vogel destroy all the pursuers. They emerge victorious from this battle. They proved that even in the most hopeless situation can find a way out. Upon arrival in Los Angeles, Carol testifies in court against Watts. Her testimony proves decisive and Watts is sentenced to a long prison term. Justice is served. After the trial, Carol begins a new life. She changes her identity and moves to another city. She tries to forget about what happened and start from scratch. Vogel continues to work in the police. He will always remember this dangerous and exciting story. He will remember Carol as a brave and strong woman who helped him restore his faith in justice. Carol and Vogel meet by chance in one of the restaurants. They exchange glances full of understanding and gratitude. They know that their fates are forever linked by this tragic story. They say their goodbyes and go their separate ways. But they will never forget each other.